in groups of people for a few reasons. One, it helps retain people. Two, it also allows people to, or sort of pushes them in direction to actually want to get trained because they're responsible for other people as well. And then it gets them into that position of being able to make residual or royalty income as quickly as possible too. So for those couple of reasons, well, and one of the most important thing is you have to do a fraction of the work to get to the same level in the marketing plan. I think. Yeah, go on, James.
Could I just get you to hold your piece of paper up again? I've just started recording this. I'm just going to... So, guys, we're going to be explaining the importance of supervisor lines. So, everybody that's watching this video now, this Zoom call, I want each of you to draw the lines. Don't worry about the names. Just focus on drawing the circles with the lines, just like you've seen here. So, go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. And Phil's going to explain how we're going to start qualifying supervisor lines, starting with being 4,000 on your own to then getting to qualifying with 4 people, doing 1,750 volume points per person across a team of 4. Phil's going to explain that for us today, guys, for Team Nick. Thank you, Phil.
Okay, so the first example, like I said, was 4,000 volume points. We can accumulate that through product use or doing a little bit of business or, in our case, 8 optimized sales will get us to that position. Now, my argument has always been that it's better to do stuff in a group. That's why we've actually got the Limitless team together anyway. We've been able to sort of move everything forward much faster because we've been collaborating information. So the second example, the 2 circles, one underneath each other, I want you to write, obviously your name's the front of each one of those lines. But in the next example, I want you to write 2,500 and 2,500 in each one of those circles. So I want you to start to maybe picture that second circle, who would that name be? Or in your organisation as it stands, who would that name be in that? So in that example, given 2,500 or 5 optimised sales, if both people in this example did 5 optimised sales, both people in this example go supervisor. So you can see going from 4,000, you can actually, by working and buddying up as a team, you can actually start to reduce the amount of volume that's required and to go to exactly the same position. So the next example along will be your name, the person that you just wrote down in another example's name, and then somebody either you know or they know. This time I want you to write 2,000 in each one of those circles. So it'll be 2, 2, and 2. In that example, everybody then goes supervisor. So we're starting now, at this point now, we're actually cut 4,000 volume points in half in order for each one of those people to qualify to the same position. Yes, Nick, you've unmuted yourself.
I've got a quick question, sorry.
Sure, mate.
Yeah, so you know how, like you said, on the third one, there's 3 circles?
Yep.
Do those people need to be under each other in that?
Correct. Yep. And we'll go through that. That's a really good question, and it's something that I finished another conversation with right at the end, so it's a good time to bring that up. So let's use the example of who's on the call at the moment. If we were doing a line of supervisors with yourself, Nick, Ryan, Alex, and James, it would be Nick's ID and then James' ID directly underneath Nick, and then Ryan's ID directly underneath James, and then Alex's ID directly underneath Ryan's. So in that example, it's one ID directly underneath the other ID in order to get a supervisor line to happen. Does that make sense?
Not really. That's
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you look at this example here,
yeah,
each one of those IDs is directly underneath the next one.
I know why that wouldn't have made sense, because Nick's logical and he would have been thinking I'm signed under James. So
okay. I was just using an example based on who was on the call.
Nick's very literal, and I get that. So let's say you and I and Ryan all signed up today. Let's say Phil just signed us up, and then we're signed under Stefan for figuratively speaking, and then Ryan's got his mate Will who's signed up as well. So then it would go me, then you, then Ryan, then Will. Because I signed you up, you signed Ryan up, Ryan signed Will up.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, done.
Yeah.
Easy. Thank you, guys.
No, I'll remember that for next time, Nick. Sorry about that explanation,
No,
mate.
good. Thank you.
What do you mean directly under?
So yeah, I signed
ID underneath ID, yeah.
Yeah, I signed Nick up, Nick signed you up, you signed Will up. So there's me, there's Nick, there's you, there's Will. So there's 4 of us. Does that make sense? All the people that have signed people up under their Herbalife. Yeah?
Oh, okay, yeah.
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 All right.
We good? So the fourth example, with the 4 circles underneath each other, I want you to write 1,750 in each one of those circles. And once again, in that example, every single person goes to that supervisor level. The reason for that is that they actually encourage people to qualify to that supervisor level because, once again, they believe they're going to get, good recognition, get the best retail profit, the ability to, make wholesale profit and royalties. Royalties are a business that's created underneath your supervisors. One of the things I was talking about earlier today was that one of the most important things I do when I put a supervisor line together is make sure everybody understands that they're making their money for themselves. So in the example that I gave is if they're making $10,000 a month, they keep every single cent of $10,000 a month. They don't pay the person that brought them into the business, and they don't have to pay Herbalife something in order to achieve that same, whatever income they decide they want to make. Another example is the person who registered me into the business makes a quarter of what I make every single month because he doesn't do any work. He hasn't recruited anybody. He recruited me and then retired pretty much. So he makes a fraction of what I make, but he also has a regular royalty-based income for the rest of his life because he recruited me. So one of the things about recruitment and stuff like that, all of us at some point or another have been attempted to be recruited because obviously people see us as having value. I look at recruitment as a compliment, not as something to be upset by. So, our favourite football teams get recruit players, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, they all recruit people all the time. So it's a really general, regular thing that people do. So going back to the supervisor line, the reason why I do that is I believe firmly, and you guys have actually come from this experience. You came from a world team line. So a world team line that was done almost 5 years ago. People have stuck around in the business and then all of a sudden found somebody, and then, the Team Limitless thing came about. So qualifying people in lines keeps people around long enough to either with the promise of something to happen or in terms of being responsible for other people and then learning the information, and then therefore based on learning the information, they stick around because they understand the brilliance of the model. One of the things that I was talking about this morning is I don't think people realise is that the wholesale component of what we're going to be able to do through the optimized program is going to be where the bulk of the income actually comes in. So let's say, for example, I've got someone on an optimized program. They're getting a great result, which happens all the time. And let's say they want to get a Glowly mix, or if they want to get another shake, if they want to get another rebuild or something like that. I would then register them under the same way that you register somebody that you're registering in the business. So it's an $83 investment. They get 25% discount for life on their products. Based on the fact that you're a supervisor, the other 25% travels to you. Not from them, but from the company itself. So on a $100 sale, for example, $25 automatically goes to you. Now, that's not $50 if you're doing it directly to them, but at the same time, the personality, the way you make the money to me is more attractive because that person goes onto their own portal that's linked to your ID. They purchase their own product and you're the one that gets paid at the 15th of the month. I think once again, that's the start of what we're talking about in terms of residual income. That example that I used this morning is if we had through the door-to-door stuff, like 1,200 people come over that 3-month period into somebody's business through the door-to-door stuff. If they just then went through the process of loving the products and that, and then got themselves an ID and just had the shake itself, the $70, product, that would be an equate to a $20,000 wholesale check every single month. That means $20,000 of people just ordering their own shake, not an optimized program, not an ultimate pack, not a breakfast pack, just the shake. That would be the 25% component that would actually travel to the supervisor that had those customers. To me, also, I would be dealing with every single one of those people, even though they are customers, like they're actually going to be one of my best new coaches. So it's just another thing that I think understanding what we're part of and also the component of the optimized program that can not only, just like I said the other day, not just a transaction, but also the ability to set that person's life up for the rest of theirs. And that's something quite unique. We can then start to pay it forward. And the ones that actually are interested in the business itself will be the ones that actually tap us on the shoulder and go, hey, I'd like to know a little bit more about this. One of the things in terms... Yeah, go on,
I was
James.
going to say, imagine it like, Nick, every time any of your clients ever purchase, well, like your old clients, so you know how you were referring to VPA, imagine if every single time they purchased any supplement product from VPA, that you would get paid 25% of the overall retail of that. You know what I mean? That's huge. Like Ryan, all the guys that you're referring to proteins and stuff like that, 25% of the overall retail of every single time that purchases supplements for the entirety of their life. And it's not just a supplement pack to get them from A to B. It's a supplement support pack that actually sustains their lifestyle. So they're more likely, and I guess it works out to be, I think, 55 or 65% from a statistic I read, 65% more inclined to repeat purchase if the person gets a result. And the products themselves aren't designed around your quick fix methodology. They're created around a whole food support system in conjunction with what we do to create a lifestyle. So the shakes themselves aren't just there to have after the gym, have before the gym, shit like that. It's actually to be a supplement support system to support a healthy lifestyle. So they're more inclined to continue to purchase these because they are meal replacements in some sort, but they're also, I look at them not as a meal replacement, but more as like a meal enhancer because they've got everything. So the people are going to become not addicted, but they're just going to become intrigued and used to what that habit, you know what I mean? Like you can go back to having fucking burnt toast with Vegemite, or you can have a fresh, healthy Herbalife shake every morning.
I mean, once again, we're losing that battle all the time too, because, you know, you've got a thing that's got no nutritional value called a happy meal. I'm not too worried or offended by the term, even though it's incorrectly used a lot, meal replacement. At the end of the day, I call it a shake, an F1, whatever it is. It's basically, I'm using it for its function. Back in the days before I knew anything about Herbalife, I would find something that was TGA approved in order to do exactly the same thing. And if they said, oh, I didn't like the taste, I said, you're not taking it for its taste, you're taking it for what it's actually doing for your body. So exactly the same principle. I just now know that when I talked the other day about efficacy and supply, that's a really important thing. And I think any of us have worked in this industry to some degree or another. We don't want it to be determined by, you know, famine, flood, plague, or any of those sorts of things. And we want to make sure that when somebody opens a container, that it's exactly the same from the top of the container down to the bottom. Anyway, but that's not what we're really sort of talking about today. The ones that do want to get it, the ones that do want to understand what it is they have in their hands, this is the best way to move forward, in my opinion. Now, there's a place for everybody in this business, whether it's just as a customer buying a multivitamin or a shake, or if it's somebody that wants to be a supervisor to have the best product use themselves at the biggest discount. These supervisor lines could be made up of both types of people. And that could be, it could be all business builders, or it could be business builders and some customers that want to get bulk amount of product at a really, really good amount, you know, a really good price that they can use all the time. It might be a couple, whatever it is. I just think that if I can get somebody to exactly the same position in the marketing plan for a fraction of what they would normally have to do themselves, I think it would be a disservice to not let them know about that. And so that's what happened. Like, you know, Marvin reached out and said, hey, there's something with this Herbalife thing in there. Can you maybe tell me a little bit more? And I said, yeah, absolutely. Answered all his questions. And 3 days later, he'd done a supervisor line with him, his brother and another lady named Peter. So, which was pretty straightforward. Just asked a whole bunch of questions about exactly what to do and how to do it. And yeah, it was just ABC pretty much, step by step. The reason I'm telling you about it is because that's what I've done a lot of. It's something that I enjoy doing the most. And I really believe that retention is the thing that costs most companies. And if we can retain all of the people that we've got coming in on the Optimize program, we can retain the people that actually want to be teachable, want to learn a little bit about this business that's inside the Optimize program. Well, then they're the people that I'm interested in working with and talking about what it is they can do, you know. But once again, I'm going to be looking at, when this door-to-door stuff comes up, I'm going to be looking at every single one of those people, not only with great customer service component to make sure they fall in love with the nutrient support part of their program, but I'm actually going to be looking at those people like my coaches. Generally, they have less ego. Generally, they have more openness to the whole idea of things. And when people are starting to attract, when they're attracting inquiry based on a good product result, and product result means the entire product of the Optimize, people are just going to be asking them what to do. What can I do? Or, how can I get involved? Well, you can get involved through an optimized program, jump on one of the webinars, and then we start moving them forward. My ultimate goal is to help them wanting to understand that they need to ingest that nutrition every single day of their life in and around their whole food programs. And then that's when you get a massive wholesale component, and then the leaders will actually continue to go out there and recruit to do exactly the same thing over and over again. That's why the optimized program has to be exactly the same, so it can duplicate, it can be simple. And then when I bring somebody in who's becoming a customer who wants to then do a coach, all of the other stuff's created by people like us. All they have to do is be really great at inviting people onto a webinar. It becomes a very, very easy, very duplicable way of doing business, which means that we don't have to then train thousands of people that come into our organizations, because there's an entire training system just for the Herbalife component in there worldwide that we don't have to be there. And that's what I was saying the other day, that once a month we're catching up as coaches at a monthly event. Then we can catch up with all of our customers, all our new coaches, all of the people and the coaches that have been sent from other coaches like Nick. If you've got people down in Melbourne, that's where we meet the Team Limitless guys. That's pretty much what that once a month thing's about. But also you're hearing stories and testimonials about the products and the business from people that aren't us. Because people, for whatever reason, even on this call, think it's probably self-serving, when in actual fact, where you're positioned in my business, this is not a financial investment in terms of what's actually going on for me. Yeah. But if we have more of us knowing about the supervisor lines, and that's something that we talk about openly in the group, then that's a culture that'll start to permeate through.
Yeah, I think the thing I was speaking to both you and Nick about separately, Ryan, was that it was at the moment the stability inside of your business for both of you isn't there. The guys aren't buying into the actual overall what they're a part of, and so they're not going towards the direction that we want them to go in. You know what I mean? Like, there's frustration in the sense that they're a disjointed unit. Like, we want them to be an impenetrable unit where they're working in cohesion for one another. And it's hard because Alex will come back on this call and see the recording of this, and we'll go for Alex's line as well. It's like getting people qualified further up the marketing plan. The person goes supervisor knowing they have to do their 2.5, knowing the people underneath them then have to drive the business so they can get residual income. So it's like you're doing your 2.5 as a person to be able to pick up the people underneath you. So when you're a supervisor, they're actually more intent for you to actually do the work, because you don't get paid for the business that you do underneath you. As Phil was saying, the person above him does not get paid. He gets paid a quarter of what Phil actually makes. So when you're a supervisor, that does not guarantee that you'll get paid for the 2.5, for the however much volume you do underneath you. So if Steph doesn't do the work, he gets none of Team Limitless's volume points. He just basically skips him and goes to Westy. So if Steph doesn't do his minimum 2.5, all the work I do, he doesn't get. I mean, that's why you've seen Steph put on 7 sales in 1 week for Optimize. He's like, look, I'm done. Now the rest of the month I can focus on growing my business. So it's like, at the moment, there's money going, I'll be honest, there's money going from you guys to me, because neither of you are supervisors. Nick's losing out on money because the 500 went straight from you, skipped you, went straight to me. Alex's volume points skipped you, went straight to me. I'm doing this call to make sure that Phil's giving you guys the opportunity to make the most amount of income that you can. All of Ryan's 500 volume points from his 1 sale went straight to me. All of Alex's 1,800 volume points went straight to me. Just reminding you guys of that fact.
Do you know what's really interesting to me is that I've been a personal trainer in this industry for 16 or 17 years. 16, 17 years. Not once have I ever been on a call where a personal trainer or somebody in my industry has called me up and gone, hey, you know what? This is how you can make a little bit extra money. Not one time in 16 or 17 years. Now, I'm not looking for a gold star or a chest to pin it on, Ryan. Right now, that's not what I'm talking about. But we need to start to think about things from a different angle. Most of the times, and I've shared this with James, and I'll share this with you guys because it's you guys, it's the leadership. And most of the time when I start talking about the Herbalife component of it, I can see everybody just switch off, completely switch. Like, who the fuck is this guy talking to us about Herbalife? When in actual fact, all I'm trying to do, and I was saying this to some of the guys earlier, making other people money, for me, is like the night before Christmas. like it's exciting. I find it exhilarating. It's something that I enjoy doing. With this, and it's like all the stuff that we do and tend to try and overcomplicate sometimes, looking after someone is just caring enough to make sure we communicate with them. We now have the ability to not only make a transaction with that person, but we can also, through that person, they open up their circle of influences to us. If they're making a little bit of extra income, then they can afford some of our other coaching services, which I think is a real positive, which that's how I sort of looked at this when I first started. How can we find something that's a systemized, but also support the trainer, the coach, the person in that industry outside of me? Because I don't want to be everything to everybody, and I'm sure you guys don't want to be either. I mean, we are trained to try and position ourselves, but at the same time, I would rather have, 1,000 people doing their own thing, their own way, within the support structure of this, megalodon company. It's just ridiculous. So getting people started so they can activate the marketing plan the way that they want, have the position in the business that they want to have, I think is just really what this conversation's about.
The thing that I find is like, why would you sign someone up and then just have them sit there and not give them a fighting chance with the intention to go and actually better themselves? And in turn, because the way this business is set up, will financially remunerate you for putting somewhat of effort into that person to change their life, will in turn also change yours. That's why Phil said volume points, value points, because like by me getting on this call with you guys, it remunerates me so minuscule compared to what it remunerates you guys, but it allows me to see as a collective unit, each and every one of you become financially free. Because the next phone call we have and the next week and the next month and the next year and the next 10 years is like, James, remember that time when you and Phil sat on that call and you fucking grilled us and you said, look, let's do this and let's qualify supervisor lines. We unlocked more of our profit. Then we went and did the same call with our team, and then it just duplicated. And then all of a sudden you've got a line 1,000 deep. Everyone's duplicating this same model because they're going to start following what you do now. If you're not working, your team won't work. And if I don't work, my team doesn't work.
So the old style network marketing, multi-level marketing thing that people actually, pretend to understand is one where they register someone, do fuck all, don't help in any way, and wonder why they haven't gotten rich. That's really how it has worked in the past. When I started, you could buy a whole bunch, like 4,000 volume points worth of business. Once again, archaic, old style, bullshit way of doing a business that's very sophisticated and smart. That can't exist now. But what can exist is we can get people to Supervisor very, very quickly in 1 month, doing a quarter of what I did when I first started all by myself. So why would I want to start somebody else the same way that I started? I mean, I was going to be successful because I decided to burn the boats like Anthony Robbins talks about. Like I was just going to do it. And I was lucky enough that my life was on the line at the time, literally. So had it not been, I'm not sure if I would have really embraced it, to be quite honest with you. I don't know. I'd like to think that I would have, but maybe I wouldn't have. But what I do know is two things about our space. One, we have the most potential. And two, it's often never utilised. And I would probably caveat that with the third one. When somebody like me or somebody like some of the people in my team really get it, we have such a massive impact and our businesses go so fast because we speak a language that other people don't. We understand and empathise with people that usually come to us after they've been let down by everything and everybody else. So we have a way of understanding how to move somebody forward, get them the result that actually attracts the inquiry from the people in their, in their circle. That's actually the traditional way to actually start the business. And often I think people tend to overcomplicate stuff. And most of the time, and I'll say this to people often, I didn't give a shit what anybody thought of me in high school. And I'm certainly not going to start doing that now. And when I started the business, I know at the end of the day, I copped a lot of flack. But nobody was at home paying my bills for me. When I found out what I did, this whole organisation, this whole entire worldwide thing wrapped its arms around me and really helped with my education, moving it forward. What I'm trying to say is, probably poorly, is that we've got this little component of our Optimise program that actually gets people off to a really fast start because it just enhances all of the great nutrition practices that we all have done throughout our careers. So it's a great way to get them excited and enthusiastic straight away, which means less people wanting to, quit the program, all of the different things that I've seen people come up with. That haven't been my experience at all. Had I had this program when I first started, my business would be tens of thousands, not thousands, because it's just so well put together. It's so complete. It's every part of somebody's journey, both in business, in life, but certainly to get their result. Can't have a shitty mindset and get up on stage like you have, Nick, for example. You're not going to be able to do it unless you've combined all the things. And every program in the world has some form of nutrient support or sports supplementation attached to it. Every single one. Why wouldn't I use the best? Why wouldn't I have put the best in there? Something that's unique, not just protein, but something that's unique in terms of what it's done, patented in terms of being able to really draw out the best of the nutrition in terms of the whole food that we're putting into our bodies. You guys were there. You saw the science. You saw how thorough things are in the background. But more of us, if we're confident and we speak, Herbalife is a component of our Optimize, is a component of Team Limitless, nobody would be able to come anywhere near us. It's a complete boundary force shield, and everybody else can grow up within that. The more of us there are, the more that we can start to determine the culture that we actually see out in the community. That's my view, because I don't know why I don't get any stigma when other people do. And then when I do, I just smile and go, man, that's very, 1999 of you. That's brilliant.
You guys are saying it's one team, one family. Like when Dingo was copying flack the other day, if we were more of a unified front and around him like that, then we wouldn't be copying flack, and Dingo, even when he did, we all jumped on board. It's those things that we're going to become the majority rather than the minority. And because of the basically the development we've done in ourselves, whatever we choose to do, people will naturally progress forwards. Look how you guys have all come on board with me. You've seen the personal development I've done in myself, and you're like, Nick, you and I are a perfect example. You're like, James, whatever you do, I do. Whatever you've done in the past, whatever you told me to do, I've done. Ryan, same conversation. Alex, same conversation. You don't think you have a network of people that think the same thing about each of you? Whatever Nick does, I do. Whatever Ryan does, I do. Whatever Alex does, I do. We all have that. It's about that.
My business is made up of 99.9% of people that I'd never met before. Ever. And nothing to do with, no idea of. I've got a few people involved at the start, and people are people. But 99% of my business is made up of people that I didn't know before I started doing this. It's something that, once again, is completely unique. So there's just another limitation that doesn't exist in this business that exists in others. And I think for me, like with Dingo, for example, because I've got a better relationship with him and know him a little bit more, I put a rocket up him last week about this entire industry and what we represent. Because, and sort of challenge him to learn a little bit more about what he's got and maybe bring more of him into the equation. Because each one of us individually are what people actually are buying into. Not Limitless, not Herbalife. The idea that we can, as a collective, make the world a better place. But they're doing that through you, Nick, and through you, Ryan, and through Alex and James and myself. And then they realise they're connected with something more, and all that does is just lend itself to people being more confident. But with this, there's at some point or another, you either have to shit or get off the pot. You have to decide, I'm going to do this or I'm not going to do this. Every company needs more customers, and that might be where people sit. We need to start to go through our organisations, look ourselves in the mirror and decide who we want to be. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to try and win coaches over like yourselves. I'm on a call because James asked me to technically talk about what a supervisor line is. And technically, you've got the example of what a supervisor line is. And more importantly, why to put one together if you decide you want to be a business builder. To me, saves everybody work, and it's more fun to do as a group. Simple as that. And if we start to do that every single month, once you are a supervisor, you don't ever have to do personal volume, because it's as you recruit it and other people and you're helping other people move forward in their business, it actually is, at least while they're qualifying, your volume. So 7,000 volume point line of 4 for supervisors, you do that every month, one of those every month, you qualify for a free holiday every year, VIP at all the events. It's a great little check. that you actually start to develop, because you can spend your time recruiting and developing that team that you brought into this. The optimized program to me is like a slam dunk. It's like the easiest way that I've ever seen to get somebody to do 500 volume points or value points and consistently have them around and give them experience to really understand who and what you are and represent. So we're sitting on, like I said the other day on the other call, it was really like we're sort of forking the road. We can either be the juggernaut that we should be or not, which is a great thing about having choice. You can decide to succeed or fail any given moment. So, and that's what the decision I think some of our leadership have right now. Who do you want to be? Do you want to be a follower? Do you want to be a shepherd or a sheep? Which one do you want to be? Because at the end of the day, if we taught some of the principles about, you know what, if you want to do something, that's great, but as soon as somebody might be a little bit negative, I would like you to stop. I'm not sure that's the advice we give ourselves. I'm not sure that's the advice we give our clients, and certainly wouldn't be the advice we give our kids when we eventually have them, some of you guys. Imagine my daughter coming home from school and going, you know what, you can do whatever you want as long as all your friends agree with it. You can do whatever you want and be whatever you want as long as everybody else doesn't give you a hard time. Because if they do, then stop. Just stop straight away. Like, we've got to sort of maybe look at ourselves every now and then at, you know, what we're representing too. Because everything, whether we say it out loud or not, duplicates. Everything, good and bad. So we could actually really create a really positive culture. And there's some guys and girls in our group now that are really starting to clue on.
So what do we so what's the plan? We going for supervisors this month or what?
I'm going to jump off. I'm going to let you guys talk now. I've given you the mechanics.
Thanks, Phil.
I'm around.
Thanks, Phil.
Okay, see ya.
Thanks, Phil. Oh, he's gone. That was all good.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, fucking oath.
100% going for supervisor. I've been going for supervisor since I started. I just didn't know how to do it. But that was sick.
I've recorded this for you as well, Alex, so you can see the entire line.
Yeah, thank you. That's
So-
good. I cut out a few times.
That's all good. So Nick, Ryan, you guys keen? We're going to do it?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I've always been keen.
What are you writing
So
down?
the
Fucking
three,
registering my dog, bro.
the three of us are in a line though, right? Like me, Nick, and Ryan.
No. So you're in a line with Kim. So Ryan's in a line with Will. So you and Nick are in a line because you're both under Nick. So basically what can happen is you could do, I'd say, get Kim to get one more person, Alex, for yourself. And you, Kim, and Kim's friend can do a line. Ryan, you've got Will, and I'd find Will to do one more person and do it that way. And
Yeah.
then obviously Nick's going to fall in diffusion there. Or one of you, or both of you can choose to go towards Nick line as well. And then what'll happen is, so it's like, let's say Kim, Alex, Nick, Will, Ryan, Nick. That's all going to qualify all six of you. If you find two people, the way it's been structured, I've had a look at it. I think it works out to be, the example was 2-2-2. So Kim, Alex, Nick will be 2-2-2. Will, Ryan, Nick will be 2-2-2. And I'm pretty sure that pops off 5 supervisors all at once.
James, quick question. In that, can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, in that example that you just said, just say it's me, Ryan, Will, me, Alex, Kim. If I just get 2,000, that works for both lines. Hey.
Yeah,
you've got to get 4,000 to help those two. Hey.
You've got to get 2,000. 2,000.
Fucking easy.
4 sales.
Done. I have good news, by the way. As we were chatting, my ads for my new campaign weren't converting, but they were converting into active campaigns. So there's 6 leads just sitting there. I didn't even know about it. Lol.
Oh, what the fuck?
So I can call them all now, get these fucking sales done.
Nice.
See, the thing is, like, this is what Phil was saying. Like, don't just rely on that for a sales mechanism. You know what I mean? Like, we all have so many people. Like, you guys would have people reach out to you consistently just on your posts. Like, Alex, you're especially like that. Nick, you've got the biggest following. You've got a bigger following than our entire team put together. How the fuck are you not tapping into that?
Nick.
How many people have you referred to VPA, and be honest?
Fuck. I don't know. 30?
How much money have you cost yourself?
I don't want to answer that question.
$65,000 worth of optimized sales. That's $30,000 profit you've cost yourself. How much did VPA pay you?
Like $200
a month?
No, in total.
Oh, fuck. Stop the fucking bang, brother. Want me to pay you $200 now? Fuck me dead. You know what I mean? Like, geez. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm calling you out on that one because it's like BPA. What? They're probably the equivalent of maybe like one city compared to what Herbalife does worldwide. You know what I mean? Like, let's break past the fear. Like, fuck me dead. Like, I've spent the last 2 years building myself up to basically get out of the shit of being a drug addict and fucking addicted, like alcoholic every single week, being a low fucking, pretty much most people looking down on me like this guy's going nowhere, to building myself up to being like a world-class fucking business coach, to having people look up to me. And if I'm going to put my brand or my name to something, I know tons of people in this coaching space, but yet I'm proud to say that I do this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have fear around it. And that's why my business is fucking growing. That's why my business skyrockets, because I have no fear around it. Like, this business we're all doing businesses that are already against the societal norm because we're online. Everyone thinks online's a scam. People still think that it's a rip-off and that probably think that winning's a pyramid. I mean, I got told winning was a pyramid scheme at once. I'm like, how? They pay us $20,000 and we coach them. That's not a pyramid scheme. Like, everything gets constituted as a scam, a pyramid scheme, a this, a that. Like, we just need to do it. Because at the end of the day, are you going to worry about what your fucking drunk mates from university say to you when you're living the life of your dreams and they've knocked up their childhood sweetheart and living in a fucking place that they're struggling to pay their mortgage off, you know what I mean? Like, let's be honest with ourselves. Like, I'm pretty brutal about it.
Knocked up their childhood sweetheart.
Oh, I'm just saying, like, Dingo's copping absolute flack, and I use Dingo as the example. Half those dudes drink at the pub in which my family owns, so I don't give a fuck. They're still paying my rent. So, like, you guys have got a lot of opinions. Do you know what I mean? Like, we need to push this, guys. You guys have the following, you guys have the capacity. We're just not doing it. And I want us to go supervisor this month. Yeah?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm actually doing 2 sales today, optimized sales. So,
Look at Nick's face. Alex is about to jump you because you know what? If you don't go supervisor, I guess that's my volume. Thank you, Alex.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Stop doing things, Alex.
Yeah,
do more, bro. Do more.
Oh, by the way, Nick, no paid ads ever.
Ouch.
I'm not as charming as you, though, Alex.
Sorry?
I'm not as charming as you, motherfucker.
Yeah, and you still make more money than me, so it's all good. But when we're so it's all, proofs in the pudding. But I've got Kim is my best team member. She's the keenest, and I've also got Billy Boss when I can get her actually away from her business. That's the problem. She's so ingrained in her business. Then I can she'll be absolute fire easily.
Yeah.
So,
the thing, like, Phil jumped on that call and you guys are literally 10th line to Phil, just being honest. I think maybe even 11th line. You mean no relevance to his check at all, but he just wants to see you guys grow like he does. And because he respects me so much, he wants to make sure that, like, my team's thriving and that the business in which I'm creating has the capacity to do the things that we all know it does. Like, I see us all standing on stages in respective states, different countries, and just, like, absolutely transforming not only Herbalife but the world. Yeah. And at the moment, we're all struggling to get the supervisor.
Yeah. From a game plan perspective, this is fucking easy. That third line's the best one.
Yeah. Nothing.
Like, I'm gonna get 2,000. Benno's gonna get 2,000. Alex is gonna get 2,000. If you two can just make your people under you do it, that's fucking easy.
Like, it's 4 sales, Benno. Like, talk to Will, be like, do you know 4 people? He'll be like, yeah. Go get them on the fucking phone to me. 4 sales, 2,000 volume. Then you go, oh, I got to just get 4 leads. That's over a month, man.
Yeah, because that fourth one, 1750. That you need 4 sales to hit that anyway.
Yeah,
you just hit the third one. 3 people, done.
Yeah. So we going for it?
Yeah. So it needs to be done in a month in the next 2 weeks, pretty much, the next 10 days.
Yep, 15. We're actually only 15 days. So today's the 15th of the month. So just to rub it in, guys, I'm getting a real fat Herbalife check today.
What is it?
How much? Yeah, how much? Tell us.
So the residual aspect's over 10,000, and the wholesale retail aspects about another 5,000. So just 15,500.
Fuck yeah.
Woo! That's disgusting.
And I've actually, and you guys know, like I've been fucking getting my head back in order since Frankie passed. Like I haven't driven my business anywhere near as hard, and that's the biggest check I've got. Oh, second biggest check I've got today.
Second biggest today.
That's not including any of the retail sales that I made last month as well. So I probably made closer to 20K a month just from optimizing.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. That's the goal. That's
What
it.
I want.
That's not the
That's
goal.
it. 20. I like it.
So just because I missed a bit of the call, we're going with the line of Nick, me, someone Nick